Hello, everybody. This week we're doing Access Module 2 SAM training and Access Module 2 SAM project. So follow along. If you have any questions, make sure you email me. And since this is week 6, make sure you have all of Word done, all of Excel done, and the first half of Access done by Sunday. That means do your 2 Access exams for this week if you haven't done them already. All right, let's go on with the training. And let's do this thing. 22 tasks for Access Module 2 practice.
Click the Create tab on the ribbon. In the Tables group, click the Table Design button. Type Region ID as the first field name and press Enter.
Region ID.
The first field in the table is entered and named Region ID. After giving the field a name, you select its data type. Click the Data Type list arrow for the Region ID field. A list of data types for a field is presented. Click Auto Number. Use the Auto Number data type when you want access to automatically number the records. Click the second. Type Region Name as the second field name, and the second field in the table is entered and named Region Name. Short text is the default data type for new fields and is the desired data type for the Region Name field. Click the Save. Type Regions in the Save As. Table names should be descriptive yet as short as possible. Click OK in the Save As dialog box. Click No when prompted to create a primary key field at this time. The primary key field is used to uniquely identify each record. It is not required for a new table, but best practices encourage a primary key field for each table. You can allow access to automatically add a primary key field to the table when you create it, or set the primary key field at a later time.
All right, so create a new table, and this time we're doing it under Table Design view. Create our first field, Region ID, and auto number, region name, short text is good. Save it, call it regions. Save it, no primary key.
In Datasheet view of the Managers table, click the DOH field to select it. It's a good practice to select the field you want to modify before working with the features provided by the ribbon. Click the Table Tools Fields tab. The Fields tab provides buttons to add and modify fields in the table. In the Properties group, click the Name and Caption button. The Name and Caption button opens the Enter Field Properties dialog box, where you can modify the field name, caption, or description. Click the Caption box and type Date of Hire in the text box. Click OK. Date of hire will now display instead of the actual field name, DOH, at the top of data sheets and as the default label for the DOH field in forms and reports.
Okay. DOH, go up to fields, look for name and caption, change caption to date of hire. Easy.
In Design View of the Stores table, click the empty field name cell. Just type website in the cell and press Enter. Field names should be as short as possible, yet clear and descriptive. Best database design practices encourage field names without spaces or special characters. Click the Data Type list arrow. Click Hyperlink. Hyperlink is the best data type for this field as it will store website address information.
Alrighty then. We are going to create a website field and give it the hyperlink data type. Cool.
In Design View of the Managers table, click the DOB field to select it. Click the Caption property in the Field Properties pane. Type Date of Birth and press Enter. Date of birth will now display instead of the actual field name, DOB, at the top of data sheets and as the default label for the DOB field in forms and reports.
Okay, DOB, go down to caption down here. It's just the same as if we went up at the top, right? Caption, date of birth. That's all there is to it.
Click the State field. In the Field Properties pane, click the Field Size property. Select the text in the Field Size property box, type 2 to replace the value, and press Enter.
This is restricting it, so if you just want like FL for Florida, MD for Maryland, that kind of thing, you restrict it to just 2 characters.
All of the entries in the state field are 2-character state abbreviations, so setting the field size value for the state field to 2 will lower database storage requirements and prevent users from entering more than 2 characters in the field. Click the Save button. Click Yes at the Because no current state field values are more than 2 characters, no data will be lost.
Right. However, if you had people that actually typed the word Florida or Nevada or whatever, then those would be shrunk down to just 2 letters. So Florida would actually work because it's FL, but Nevada obviously not because it would be NE instead of NV, and that would be a problem. But when you set up your table in the first place, when there's no data in there yet, you set the fields to the size that you want, and then you don't have to worry about it. Click Save, and that's what this is telling you here, that if you had words instead of just 2 letters, then they would disappear.
Click the Revenue Goal field's description. A short description of the description property appears in the lower right corner of the Field Properties pane. Type Annual Revenue Quota and press Enter.
Quota.
Annual Revenue Quota will now document the field in Table Design View and display in the status bar when the Revenue Goal field has the focus in Form View.
Cool. revenue goal, annual revenue quota. Done.
In Table Design View, click. It is important to select the field you want to modify before making any property changes. In the Field Properties pane, click the Decimal Places property. A short description of the selected property appears in the lower right corner of the Field Properties pane. Type 0 and press Enter. Now values in the Revenue Goal field will round to the nearest dollar versus the nearest cent.
Okay, and obviously this defaults to 2 decimal places because we have the currency data type, and like $1.50, we wanted to say $1.50, not $2, right? Change it to 0.
Click the Date of Hire field. It is important to select the field you want to modify before working with the Field Properties pane in Table Design View. In the field, clicking the Format Property box displays the Format Property arrow. A list appears with common format options for a date-time field, including short date, medium date, and long date. Click Short Date. A short date format property formats the values in the field in a numeric month, day, year format with 4 digits for the year, such as 1/20/2018.
Right. So we want to change date of hire. Then we want to change the format of the date to show month, day, year. Although on here, if you look at these two, that would look like it was day, month, year, but
In Table Design View, click the Store ID field. In the Tools group on the Table Tools Design tab, click the Primary Key button.
primary key. I think you can actually click this little box here too.
The selected field, Store ID, is set as the primary key field, as evidenced by the key symbol to the left of the field name.
So store ID, I thought you could click this. I guess not. Won't let you do it here. So just click the primary key button. So typically you want the primary key to be like, in this case, store ID looks awful a lot like next record, next record, next record. But if you were using social security numbers or student ID numbers or employee number or something like that, that would typically be your primary key for that table.
Click the Metro Area Column Header field. Drag the selected Metro Area column header 2 fields to the right so that the black indicator line is positioned.
That was pretty easy. So we're going to move metro area over, and you see the black line, so we can move it to the left or we can move it to the right. It says move it over 2 places, and we're done.
Click the Manager ID record selector to select the Manager ID field. Drag the Manager ID record selector up 1 field so that the black indicator line is positioned between the Store ID and Metro Area field.
Same thing, you're just doing it in Design View instead. Manager ID, up 1 field.
Click the first value in the Date of Hire field. Selecting any value in the Date of Hire field allows you to change the format property for the entire field. Click the Table Tool. The Table Tools Fields tab on the ribbon provides options to modify the fields in the table. In the Formatting group, click the Format arrow.
And we've done this before by changing the data type in this field, so now we are going to just do formatting.
A list appears with format property options for a date-time field. Click Medium. A medium date format property formats the values in the field in a consistent day, month, year format. For example, the first date in the Date of Hire field for the first record is formatted as 01 Jan 11.
Right, so just click the fields, go up to fields. You could change it to short text or something like that if you wanted from this one, and then the format, the available format options correlate to whichever data type you have there already. We want medium date, and we're done.
On the ribbon, click the External Data tab. The buttons on the External Data tab allow you to import or export data into or out of an Access database. In the Import and Link group, click the Excel button. The Get External Data Excel Spreadsheet dialog box opens with options to import or link to external data. Click Browse. The File Open dialog box opens, which allows you to choose a workbook file or navigate to a new folder. The Provinces.xlsx workbook is in the current folder. Click. You want to append the data to the States or Provinces table. Click the Append. You must choose the target table identified in the list to the right of the Append a copy of the records to the table option. Click OK. The Import Spreadsheet wizard provides a preview of the records you are about to import and append. Click. The Import Spreadsheet wizard is ready to import the records to the States or Provinces table and prompts you whether you want to analyze the data after importing it. You do not want to choose this option at this point. You can save the import steps if you need to repeat the import process later. In this case, you do not want to save them. The records in the Provinces.xlsx workbook have been appended to the States or Provinces table in the Ice Cream Franchises database.
Right, so we want to go and get some external data from an Excel file that we have all the states and the state abbreviations in, right? So we're going to go get that. We'll browse for it. It's right here. Open it up, and then we want to put it in the States of Provinces table. So we're going to append that to an already existing table. Find the table that we want. Go ahead and click that. It shows what it's going to, a snapshot of what's going in there. Just click Next. Tells us where we want it to go, which table, and that's where we want it. So we're done with that, and we're done.
On the ribbon, click the External Data tab. The buttons on the External Data tab allow you to import or export data into or out of an Access database. In the Import and Link group, click the Access. The Get External Data Access Database dialog box opens with options to import or link to external data. The File Open dialog box opens, which allows you to choose a database file or navigate to a new folder. The USA States.accdb database is in the current folder. You want to import versus link to the states table. By default, the import option is already selected. You can import several objects in the same process by clicking the appropriate Object tab and clicking the object you want to import. Given you want to import one table, you are ready to select it. Click States.
So in this case, you could go in that whole Access database that we're pulling in. You can pull in individual tables. You could pull in individual reports, things like that. So we're just bringing over this table.
You may import as many different objects from the different object types as desired in one process. In this case, you only want to import one table, the states table. If you import the same objects on a regular basis, you can save the import steps. In this case, you do not want to save the steps. The states table has been imported from the USA States database to the Ice Cream Franchises database. It is listed as a table in the Tables section of the navigation pane.
So in the previous steps, what we did was we brought in data to add to one of our tables that we already have. In this case, we're going to bring in an actual table from another database that we've already created, right? So, and like I said, you could add the reports, the forms, the queries, anything that's already built in that Access table in this, or Access database. In this case, we're just adding the one table, states table, and then it'll put it right over here. It's right there.
In Datasheet view of the Managers table, click the first value in the last. When creating fields with the More Fields option, the New Field column will be positioned just to the right of the column where the insertion point is located. On the ribbon, click the Table Tools Fields tab. The options on the Table Tools Fields tab help you add and modify fields in Datasheet view. In the Add and Delete group, click the More Fields button. A list of data types and field options appears in the list. In the Date and Time section, click the Medium Date option. A new column is inserted to the right of the last name field. The default field name, Field 1, is highlighted, prompting you to rename the new field. Type DOB to replace the new DOB, Date of Birth field, has been created and is ready for you to enter data into it.
Right, so that's obviously we want to add a field or a column. That's a field. Yeah, so we want to add a field. These are records. These are fields. So we want to add a field after the last name. Then we go up to fields, more fields, and then you can pick whatever you want. In this case, we want it, it's going to be date of birth, so we want it in the medium date format. Change it, title, and then we're good. And you can enter all of the birth dates right from that field or that table view if you wanted to.
Click the Facts field. On the Table Tools Design tab, in the Tools group, click the Delete Rows button. Deleting a field removes it from every record in the table. Given that you cannot undo this action, you are prompted to make sure you want to delete the field. Click Yes. The Facts field is permanently deleted from the Stores table.
Yeah, because who uses a fax anymore anyway? Delete rows. Yes.
In Table Design view, click the Data Type cell for the Zip field. Click the Data Type listing. A list of possible data types to assign to the field appears. Click Short Text on. The short text data type is more appropriate than the number data type for a zip field because some zip codes start with 0. The number data type does not save 0 as a leading character in the entry.
So that would be the same case if you have employee IDs and you call them like 001, 002, those kind of things. Social security numbers, same thing. You know, they could start with zeros. Zip code, social security, employee ID, those are not numbers because in no time would you ever be adding or subtracting or doing any kind of mathematical statements with that. All right, so we don't want it to be a number. We just want it to be short text.
Click the field name cell. Select Address in the field name cell, type street address, and press Enter. Field names should be as short as possible, yet long enough to be clear and descriptive. Best database design practices encourage field names without spaces or special characters.
So address, we're just going to move to the front and type street.
In Table Design View, click the Location field. It is important to select the field you want to modify before making any property changes. Click the Default Value property. A short description of the selected property appears in the lower right corner of the Field Properties pane. Type Mall and press Enter. Access automatically adds the quotation marks around a textual criterion such as the default value entry for a short text field.
So we want to change location, so we need to click into it. And then we want to change its default value to say mall. Done. Okay.
Click the External Data. In the Import and Link group, click the Text File button.
Text file this time.
Be sure to click the Text File button in the Import and Link group versus the Export group of the ribbon. Click Browse.
Yeah, so this is import, this is export, right? See, there's a line right there. These are the export options, these are the import options.
Click. The new regions.txt file has the new records you want to import into the regions table. Click the Append a copy of the records to the table option button.
Again, we're adding this to an already existing table.
You can import the data to a new or existing table. If you choose an existing table, the fields in the text file need to be in the same order and of the same data type as the fields in the existing table. The list shows you a list of the current tables in the database. Viewing the data allows you to see how many records are in the text file and how they are ordered. Click Next to accept the new regions.txt file is a tab-delimited text file. Tabs separate the data for each field in the records. Click Next to confirm the tab delimiter that separates the fields.
Typically, comma delimited is the other more popular one. So you'd put a 4, comma, Central, comma, Kansas City, comma, and it would do the same thing as you see right here with a tab.
The text file import wizard reads the text file and correctly identifies that tab characters separate the field values. You do not want to save the import steps for later use.
All right, so this time we're bringing in not an Excel file or an Access database, but a text file. We're going to go find where we have it saved. Click the one we want. Again, we're appending this to an existing table. We want to modify the regions table, and it's delimited. This is an example of the data coming in. It's tab delimited. Again, if it was semicolon or comma, or you use some other form of delimitation, you can just click on that. We're putting it in the regions table like we already said. We don't need to import any or save the steps. 21.
Click the Database Tools. In the Relationships group, click the Relationships button.
And Access is a relational database, which it's going to basically show you this. So relationships, relational database means that, you know, tables relate to other tables in the same database.
In the Relationships group, on the Relationship Tools Design tab, click the Show Table button. Click States.
So we only have 2 tables on here. We need to add the third one because we're missing that one.
Click Add. To add a relationship to a table, the table must be added to the Relationships window. Click Close in the Show Table dialog box.
And it's very common for tables to be linked by using a primary key, right? So
Drag the state abbreviation field from the States table to the state field in the Stores table. The States and Stores tables participate in a one-to-many relationship because one record in the States table may be linked to many records in the Stores table using the common data in the linking fields. The Edit Relationships dialog box opens with options for creating the relationship. In the Edit Relationships dialog box, click the Enforce Referential Integrity checkbox.
So that's the same thing here, right? Many to one or one to many. In the managers table, there's only one manager ID for each different manager, right? So there's only going to be one option for an individual manager ID, but you could have the same manager could manage more than one store or could have switched stores, you know, been at one store for 1 year, went to another store for another year. So that's the same case here.
Click. A relationship line appears with a number 1 to indicate the one side of the relationship and the infinity symbol to demonstrate the many side.
Cool. So again, database tools, relationships, shows the 2 that are already have a relationship, but we want to add a third one. So we need to add the states table, and then we are going to close this, make the connection from state abbreviation like FL to this table, and it's showing you it's connecting the 2 tables by state abbreviation in this table and the state field in this table. We want to enforce that integrity and create it. And the last one.
On the ribbon, click. The Database Tools tab of the ribbon has features that help you work with the entire database. In the Relationships window opens and displays the relationships that were established between the 3 tables in this database.
That's it. Database tool and show me the relationships. Okay, that was a hard one. All right, we're done with that. So let's get on to the project. So now we're going to do the access Module 2 SAM project, right? On Tuesday, we did these two, and so today on Thursday, we're doing these ones. Go ahead and start that up. And so here we have our instruction file and the file that we'll be modifying. And these are our support files. So just like we saw in the training, we brought in some Excel data to append to a table. We brought in access data because we wanted a table from another access database. And then we brought in text files to append to one of our tables, right? So you want to download everything. And I'm going to do, why did it stop me? That was weird. Support files. So I'm going to save the support files first, real quick. And just save them all in the same spot where you save everything else for your homework. So I'm saving the Excel file first into my documents. And then I'm going to save the database file. File, save as, in my documents folder, which was where we already were. Don't need that. And then, oh, I did that one already. The text file. For some problem here. For some reason, it's off my screen. Well, that's a little bit shady. So let's just do. That's in my downloads file because I just downloaded it. So I'm just going to drag it and move it over to my documents folder. For some reason, it's messed up on my screen. So now we have the 3 support files we're going to be using for today. So we don't need those. And then now we just need our instructions. And again, I have that on my other screen so that we can show the whole database on this screen. All right, and the first thing, as always, we save the document with our new number 2 at the end. Save it in the same place where you have everything else. So here's that support file that we're going to be using for today. This is the one we used last week or on Tuesday. Make sure everything is good to go. We have our support files. We have grading info, right? Make sure your name is in there. And we are going to start with table trainer. Open the table trainer. Set the field property shown in table 1 on the next page. We want to be in design view. So in design, and see, I just changed the view there, right? Data sheet view or design view. So we want to change trainer ID, short text, but we want it to be our primary key. And then first name is short text. We also want to change the caption. It says to trainer ID. And then first name, we're going to change first name. It's already short text, but we're going to modify it to 20. And we're going to give it a caption of first name. Then last name is going to be 25. And a caption of last name. And then interests, instead of short text, it's going to be long text, because that gives you options to do multiple paragraphs or whatever. And that's it, I think. Add a new field to the table after interest. So we can do a new field. Field name is going to be minors. It's going to be data type yes or no. The format property, which is down here, says yes or no, so that's already good. True or false, yes or no, or on or off. And the caption is going to be accepts minors. And then the default value is no. So that one is good. Then it says delete the college field from the table. So highlight the row, delete the row. Yes, that's what we want to do. Then it says go back to data sheet view. Some data will be lost, yes. Well, view and table trainer and data sheet view, which is what we're doing now, move the interest field to the left of hire date. So interest fields, we want it to the left, oops. We want it to the left side of hire date. Let's just move it over. Update the following records to indicate that these trainers will accept clients who are all minors. Randy Lee, trainer 312, will say accepts minors. Patel accepts minors. And Carson accepts minors. Save and close the table. Save, close. All right, now it says create a new table in database with the name table client by importing the structure of table client table from the support field. So remember, we need to go to database or external data, bring in an access database, go find where you have it saved. Obviously, mine's in documents. So our support file, which is clients, open that up. We're going to import a table. And we want to import the table client, right? Client table. We don't need to save our steps. Now the client table is right here. Open the table client in design view, which is already design view. Then update the field properties using the information and then be sure to set the client ID field as the primary key for the table. When you have finished, save the table. So remember our primary key right here. Short text, field size is only 6. And the caption ID is client ID. And state is short text already. We're going to change that to 2. And caption, so it's going to default to New York. Zip field, short text, zip is going to be 10. And phone is short text, but it's going to be 15. And then gender, short text, description, field size of 1. Got that, and then description over here. F for female, comma, M for male. Switch back to datasheet view. Yes, save. Then add records as shown. First guy, A10025, Alfred. We are on step 8. Anita, 465, Grant Street, Buffalo, New York. 14213 716 545 12 15 1964. Male, B 10216. Maria Johnston, 701 Washington Street, Buffalo, New York. 36655 9855 28 1 female. Male. All right, I'm going to go back to design view. I feel like something's not right here. State. Yeah, not caption. This is what we want. Default value, New York. That's where we messed up on that one. Client ID was caption, was client ID, and this one was description. All right, that looks better. Back to data sheet view. So now it's back to state, and you can see New York is the default value when you come through here. That's what it should look like. Okay. Save and close, save and close. Number 9. Your supervisor exported his existing location data to a text file, and he wants you to bring that in. So open up. We're going to external data. This time we're bringing in the text file. Yes, we know where it is. Our locations. We're going to append that to table location. And then delimited data. This time it's comma, delimited. Yes. Table location, yes. Yes. Open table location. Here's the data. See, we just did we enter some of these? No, I guess not. Confirm that the data imported properly, then close the table. Yeah, so everything looks good, right? Phone, state, blah, 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 blah. Save, close. All right, now we're going to import the spreadsheet for the billing information, which is right here, billing. We're going to append that to table billing. This is what it looks like. And you know, if you have multiple different sheets in your Excel file, you'd have to pick that. We're just taking the first sheet. Sheet 1, import. Table billing, yes. And we don't need to save our steps. Open table billing, it all looks okay. Then close. Step number 11. Add table trainer, table billing, and table client table to the relationship window. So this time it's database tools, relationships. We have no tables in here, so we want to add them. It says table trainer, table billing, and table client. Yeah, okay. You can resize this, move them around, make sure you see all of the different fields so you're not missing anything. All right. Define a one-to-many relationship between table trainer table and table billing using the trainer ID. So trainer ID from here to trainer ID there. Enforce referential integrity. And then let's do this again. Make sure I didn't miss it. It said to do this and cascade updates to related fields. That one. All right, and then do table client ID, same thing to client ID here. Enforce cascade updates. Create. It should look like the one in our picture. File, save, file, close. Save and close anything you have open. Go back to database tools, compact and prepare the database. Then exit. We don't really need to exit because we are going to import it or upload it to documents. This is the one I'm working on. Open, submit. Whoa, that was taking a long time. View report. Open it up, see how we did. So check how you did, go into grading report, and 98 out of 100. Again, I missed something. In the table trainer table, the description property for the table ID field should be primary key. Yeah, that actually I did miss. Where was it? Table trainer? Home, design view. I put it in caption ID. So if we go back in the instructions, oh yeah, trainer, that was right, but I was supposed to put in the description primary key. So that's the one that I missed. Save, close, database tools, compact repair. We can do it again, but really that was the only thing I missed. But if you want to check to make sure, project, so you definitely just need to be careful when you're typing everything in, follow all the instructions. I was doing this kind of quick, so obviously I missed some stuff, and that's what happens, right? So you just want to be careful. View report, open this up, grading report. What? I got worse? How did it get worse? Well, that doesn't make any sense. All right, well, let's fix all this other stuff. It says, and that happens sometimes, I guess, but so I think because we went in here and we changed this and we didn't go back to data sheet view, or yeah, data sheet view, which is where we are. Interest field to the left of the hire date field. So why is this back here? We definitely moved that already. Trainer ID, first name, last name, specialty, certification, interest, hire date, accepts minors. Well, this is shady. Table client. Go to design view. Set the description property for multiple fields. In the client table, the description of gender field, gender, should be female, comma, space, male. Oh, I guess here again. I forgot. Primary key. Save. Close. All right, we'll give it another shot. Database tools, compact. Did that. Get out of here. Go back into homework. And this is why you have 3 chances. And again, if you're happy with your first score, just keep it. But if you need the extra points, work on getting 100%. View report. $100 out of 100. All right, we actually passed this time. Okay, so that's all there is to the module 2 of the access part of COM 140. Remember, we only have 2 weeks left. We have another week of access, and then our final week is of PowerPoint. So make sure you go back and complete any of the work you haven't done already. You really need to get caught up. All of you guys that are far behind, better crack down and work on your assignments, or you will no way be able to catch up in the last week. So you definitely need to make sure you're cranking down on that stuff now. Right, so we are in Unit 6 because we're in Week 6. So make sure you go back. You have the ability to go back and do any of the work you haven't done already. So there's no cutoff date. So you want to make sure you go back and do all of your assignments. For this, like I said earlier, at the end of this week, you should have the Exam 1 and Exam 2 done as well for the first module of Access. Next week, we'll be doing Access Module 3 and 4, and then the last week, we're doing PowerPoint 1 and 2. Remember, all of your homework, projects, etc., you can do 3 times to get a better score. And for your exams, you can do a second time if your first chance through your exam was not a good enough score for you to want to keep. And if you have any questions, make sure you're emailing me. And if you need a one-on-one live session, just like this through our Zoom office, we can do some office hours at a later time. All right, that's all I have for tonight. If you guys have any other issues, like I said, please make sure you email me. And I will see you on Tuesday to go over Access Module 3. All right, take care.